So I've got my spreader here tonight. Gonna make a couple of minor tune-up adjustments to it. Just had a couple of minor issues. Loose impeller, the tires need air, my grip has fallen off, and so I'm gonna put something new on there to replace it. And just gonna tighten some things up, make sure that everything is working properly. Give it a little TLC. The last time I used the spreader was when I put down my granular humic application, and I noticed that when the spreader was mostly full and there was a little bit extra weight in there, like if it was getting towards capacity, that the impeller would rub against another piece underneath there. And so I want to make sure everything's tightened down, everything is as close to it was when it came out of the box and it was brand new. I did reach out to Earthway. They were really nice. They gave me some suggestions, they gave me some part numbers just in case I needed them, and told me what to do and what to make sure of. So if you're having problems with your Earthway spreader, maybe this will be a helpful video for you. This is the Earthway 2050P estate spreader, and I really like it. Haven't had any issues with it. Like I said, these are minor things that I think just tightening things down and making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be will fix. So good spreader. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. So let's go ahead and get into this and get started. So one of the biggest issues I'm having here is the switch here that toggles the side spread control is loose. You can see it's really loose here, and it goes up and down pretty easily. And the issue is if there's a lot of material in the spreader, it's gonna push against this and it's gonna push it down, and the impeller catches on it. And it makes a nice, obnoxious clicking noise while you're trying to spread your fertilizer. So I need to get under there. There's screws under there that need to be tightened up here. And the only way to do this is a partial disassembly. So I've got to take the wheels off, I've got to disconnect the gearbox, and then I can remove the impeller and tighten this down. Kind of a pain, but it has to be done. So the tires are just connected to the axle with a locking pin. So we'll just bend it so it straightens out, and then we can remove it and pull the tire off. The other tire, the locking pin is on the inside of the wheel. Okay, so once you have the wheels off, then you can remove the axle, and it just slides right out. So just make sure that you just push it straight through. Once you get it through far enough, you can then push it down and then come back the other way for the disconnect. So just take your time with this. It's not really anything to rush through. Just slowly work it out, and it will come apart. Okay, now we can pull out the impeller and disconnect that, and that gets us to the screws that hold down the tab for the side spread control. So when you're tightening these screws, you just need to be aware of what you're tightening down here. Of course, this one here is going to have tension on the cable, which gives you the freedom to open and close the dropper. And these screws here, the tighter they are, this won't be able to move to open the holes to let your product come through down into the impeller. So these need to be just loose enough so that this can move when you adjust the knob. And then this one here and this one here are for the tab that I'm having issues with. If your impeller tab is loose, you only need to tighten these screws here, these two. The rest are purely for opening and closing the spreader holes itself. Alright, so now that those screws are tightened and everything kind of feels a little bit better and a little more snug here, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this down. I do make sure to rinse this out after I use it, but when it sits in the garage long enough and stuff goes on in the garage, dust and things, you know, whatever comes through the window. Sometimes I leave the window open just because it's so hot. Things happen, this gets dirty. So I'm just gonna wipe it down a little bit, clean it up. Okay, so now that that's all taken care of, I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together. The drive system is all back together, the impeller is rotating when the wheels turn. Now I just want to inflate the tires and make sure that there's adequate tire pressure. So it says on the side of the tire, max inflation is 30 psi. 15. So let's put some air in there. There's 23. We'll go around like 27. There's 28. Good enough. These tires are actually one of the reasons that sold me on upgrading my spreader. I upgraded from one of those little Scott's mini edge guard spreaders. Super tiny spreader, first of all, so it hardly held any material. And it had plastic wheels on it. And I didn't like that, because it was so bumpy, and we had just seeded our yard, and so there were lots of patchy areas, and it was bad. So I wanted to upgrade it. I wanted to get something nice, a little bit of an investment, and I think I paid like $140 for this, something like that. And I really like having the inflatable tires. It really does make a big difference, and it makes even more of a difference when they're properly inflated. There's 25. Let's get 3 more in there. There's 28. There we go. Last thing I want to do is just replace the grip. When I took this out of the box, it had a nice rubber grip on there, and that eventually wore off. Just wear and tear, which is expected. But I want to have something on here. Want to give a shout out to Chris Voigt. He reached out to me on the lawn forum. Check out thelawnforum.com. He reached out to me, saw one of my videos, and he suggested going to Home Depot and getting one of these pipe covers. It's a two-way seal. You can get them so that it's fully closed, but you'd have to take this off and slide it over. And I didn't want to deal with that. So what I did was I just got this one that's got a slit in there, and then you just remove these and it will self-seal. So this says fits half-inch copper and 3/8" iron pipe. And so this is just self-seal pipe insulation. I'm just gonna measure it so that it fits just around here where the old one was. And yeah, just put it on. I have enough to do it again if I need to in a year or two, or however long this lasts. So that's pretty cool. I'll keep this and save it for later. Okay, so I kind of butchered that, but that's fine. You get the idea. I think this will work for now. If anything, I should have just removed the plastic that was covering the glue as I was applying it. That was kind of dumb, but I think even next time I wouldn't even mind getting one that's already sealed and just sliding it down the handle. This cost me like $5 and that's all I invested in fixing this. So that's good news. So this should work fine. I'm gonna see if I can't get this to seal better. That was just a rookie mistake there. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I'm gonna give this a try in the next couple days. If this video is helpful for you, click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and see how it goes for me. I'm gonna apply some bug control here in the next couple of days, and then I gotta go over to my parents' house and put down some fertilizer and weed control for them. So nice to have this thing back in action. Hopefully it's really back in action and not gonna cause me any more little minor issues that kind of put it out of commission. So glad to have this done. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.